podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
BoxingVoice.com. All the guys want, I want what Mayweather got. I want what Mayweather got. You done bust your ass like Mayweather. I was trying to fight every fighter. I sacrificed a lot
Dazn Productions
to get to where I got to.
What do you bring to the table?
Let's get this on. Let's do it.
Well, it's like this. Wait.
All right, that's it. Hold on. Bernard, everybody calm down.
Man, you know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all. I sacrificed a lot. BoxingVoice.com to get to where I got to. BoxingVoice.com.
What up? What's going on, Patreon family? Welcome back. It's 7 o'clock Eastern, and we're going to be rocking out with Ken Porter. He's obviously in Las Vegas. He was doing some housework yesterday when I got in touch with him, but he's more than willing to give us an interview. Showed him how to work a little bit of Skype, so we should be getting him on video. But what's up, gentlemen? What's going on? Let me head on out to Mario Munguia, obviously in Corpus Christi.
It's me, Mario.
Yo, my intro's so nice, you gotta play it twice. This is cool. I like the way we did this thing, you know what I mean? Like, now we back with the Patreon fam. Everybody get their questions answered, you know what I'm saying? So, that worked out pretty cool. I'm good, man. I'm good. What up, Doom?
Yo, man. We switched over. Transition style. Hopefully some of the YouTube family, followed through if they were interested in what we're going to be talking about with Mr. Ken Porter. Always a pleasure. You know, he's like family here at TBV. So, yeah, man, I'm ready to, pick at Mr. Porter's brain a little bit and see how, he answers the questions we have for him. And the people, I could only imagine.
Definitely. I'm sure I haven't seen the questions yet. Or actually, you know what? Let me pull them up now. But they always come through. The Patreons always come through with the best questions. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think the most, or not the most, but what people are. We want information on the possible, Shawn Porter, Terence Crawford fight. That's basically what people want answers to. Is it going to happen? And if not, what's next for Porter outside of the generic Manny Pacquiao, Earl Spence, kind of answers? Because we know that those answers require Manny Pacquiao, Earl Spence to choose those guys. So, I want some real answers.
For sure. And also too, being able to kind of get with him and discuss some of the other aspects. I know the topic will definitely be, Porter-Crawford, but at the same time, what does a meeting like that look like? You know what I mean? Because they talked about sitting down. Porter keeps talking about, we got me and Crawford got to talk. Me and Terence got to talk. We have it. What does the talk look like? Is it over the phone? Is it on FaceTime? Is it at a nice dinner?
You know what it is? Yeah, what? It might be at a nice dinner. I mean, these guys know each other. They're friendly with each other. I think that that's a good thing in making this fight a more possible fight. I think that that kind of backstory and kind of friendship can actually make this fight to be made a lot easier. You know what I mean? It's being as though they're from both, opposite sides. I think it helps actually.
Yeah, I think the biggest hurdle or question out there is, has anyone made contact? If they're still waiting for Shawn and Terence to have this conversation that hasn't even happened when they're both home and able to use their phone at all times right now. It hasn't happened throughout this time when everybody's home, you know. So it's like if we're still waiting on them, this is dead. This is dead. This is not a real fight.
I know that as the father and trainer of Shawn, there are certain opinions that Ken is going to have, right? But I want to ask him, who's giving who the shot here? Because I think the majority of people from the outside looking in would say, well, Porter's getting a shot at the pound for pound king, but then you could turn around and look at it and say, well, Shawn has options. Shawn is on the side of the street where there are multiple roads that he can go down. So, and plus, he was just in with Earl Spence. He's been in with Thurman. He's been in with Brook, who Crawford was, supposed to fight next. So it's like, I don't know. It's hard to call it. And obviously Ken will probably, have a pretty understandable and if not, albeit predictable answer there. But at the same time, to hear him explain it would be good, I think, for us and for our airwaves.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would love to hear, I feel like I went back and I heard the last time we spoke to him about the topic, and I feel like it might be more of the same because of that. I'm hoping that, something has changed. I'm hoping that they have reached out, that someone's made some sort of contact with him to discuss anything about these possibilities,
Yeah, I'm curious to see who do they have their sights on? Like, what's the fight that they really want? I mean, because you said options, and like I'm thinking, all right, well, yeah, maybe, but like not everybody's really thrilled about fighting Shawn Porter. Let's just get that, let's just get through that first. People
Definitely.
are not saying, yeah, I'll take that fight. So, if this happens, it'd be a great fight, man, and it would be I think stylistically too, this fight would be so good because it's gonna be a matter of who's gonna impose their will more. Who's gonna implement their game plan and make it their style of fighting more. And we've known that Shawn can do that. He does that to anybody.
Yeah, I agree. Nobody is gonna be thrilled to well, and thrilled, like, yes, because Shawn Porter is a name. Shawn Porter brings a lot of illustriousness. I don't even know if that's a word, but he brings a lot of, it sounds good, right? But at the same time, like, I get where you're coming from. I know what you're saying. It's true. Like, nobody wants to be in that kind of fight that they know he's gonna exactly. Like, nobody looks forward to that kind of fight. It's hard work, but it's a fight game, so these guys aren't scared. It's just that, a tough night's a tough night.
All right, so we should be connecting with him as we speak.
To be honest with you, I thought I saw him pop up, and then it just dropped off.
No, it's ringing. He had the
okay. Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
my bad.
he had his app closed, so.
Gotcha.
Just waiting. He said ring him up again. Let's see. Hopefully it connects. It's Las Vegas internet, man,
This is what you get when you come on Patreon. All the behind the scenes. We'll get that Jamie one day, where Jamie would just have them connected, like
Showtime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It must be like.
There he is. How you doing, Ken?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys?
Oh, we're good, brother. Happy to have you, man. I thought you didn't get it. I'm like, oh no, we can't get him. But how are you, Ken Porter? First and foremost, obviously, thank you for taking out the time to come on the show and talk a little boxing with us. Man, Vegas looks sunny.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a spot that ain't got so much sun right now. That's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, that's a great problem, man. I mean, today we're actually doing pretty well in New Jersey. It was like 74 when I went out today, but I quickly ran in the house, man. Not enough people wearing gloves and masks, man. I mean, we kind of lifted the restrictions here on the East Coast slightly, and everyone went a little bit crazy. But how is COVID treating you in Las Vegas? Has it affected you personally yet? Hopefully not.
Some people that I know, but they seem to have come through it. I knew a few people that have. experienced the illness and dealing with it, and they're back to 100% now. But um, it's unbelievable, is what it is. Personally, in my household or my close family members, no one there, but a distant family member, succumbed to it, and it was one of the craziest things. They had to have the funeral online because they weren't allowing anyone there, so they wanted other family members to be able to attend or see it. And so one of the family members took a phone and filmed it live, and there was just a few people there with masks on, surrounding uh, the person that was they were saying goodbye to, who was a distant family member. It wasn't no one that I had even socialized with, but up close and personal, no one that I know is dealing with it right now. But I have had a few people that have had it, and they've come back from it. So I'm glad to hear that, see that they're 100%.
Now, obviously, you're a trainer that has, you've been around a lot of these guys for a long time. So I wanted to ask if you had any dealings with Tony Harrison's father. I know that he suffered, that family suffered a loss due to COVID-19, and he was the trainer of Tony Harrison. Just wanted to know if you have ever met him and if you had any words to say about him.
Yeah, I met him on numerous occasions. We come up in the same region. Michigan and Ohio uh, border each other, so we constantly went to Detroit to fight Kronk fighters, and Detroit, came to Cleveland, and then we had a group of fighters that got really good in Cleveland, and so what Emmanuel Stewart did, he opened up a Cleveland Kronk gym called the Cleveland Kronk Gym. He opened up a gym there. So we have been in contact with Detroit fighters, and also Tony Harrison. I've been around him since he was a kid, and also his dad. I was actually at that last fight that Harrison had, and seeing his dad there, just spoke to him for a moment. But it's unbelievable. I haven't reached out. To be honest with you, me reaching out to people in these type of situations, I choose to sit back and wait until things kind of settle a little bit, so to speak. I don't, I don't never really want to be, unless it's someone that I directly have a relationship with, that I'm dealing with on a regular basis. I don't want to interrupt when people are trying to figure out how to deal with it, you know. So I haven't reached out to him. Very, very, very sad situation, and of course, being a father and a father that trains his son, and the same situation there, you think about that. It makes you think about that. It makes you think about your own mortality. That it could be you next. It could be anyone that you know next.
Ken, how's it going, brother? It's Alex. I see the
Hey,
workout. How you doing? I see the workout stuff in the background. I see you got your headphones on. With COVID going on and everything, that you have to do to just try to stay safe. How's the Shawn Porter camp? Maintaining that 100% octane. You know what I mean? That Shawn always brings to the fights.
Well, I follow him on social media. What is it? Hashtag.
I seen it. I seen it.
Hashtag just the three of us.
well, that the song in the background was just the two of us, but it was myself, Shawn, and Coach Wade, and we've been doing that for a number of weeks now. Prior to this, prior to the quarantine, and I pride myself every year on making not New Year's resolutions, but New Year's plans. Can't take a lot of pride in that anymore, because the best laid plans now just mean nothing. But I pride myself every year on making New Year's plans and not resolutions. So I had planned on uh, doing my own personal training center here at home. That was the plan. And, as the weather began to get warm, I was going to start, pushing it and bringing things in from the storage that I had at the performance center, and we're gonna, get it set up real nice here. Well, this happens, and expedited the process, and so I've had a lot of things done here since then. We had a whole semi truck come in here. They wouldn't even allow it into the community. Semi truck come in here with equipment and different things that we got going on here now, and that's all a part of a plan that I already had before this happened. But now that it's here, it kind of works out really good for Shawn. No, it works out great for Shawn because I'm in my backyard right now, and let me see if I can flip you guys here. Let me see if I can do this. Can I do this?
You should be able to.
Will it allow me to flip? Let's see.
It
should.
Remember, it flipped with you and I earlier, but it's not doing
There it
that.
is. Yeah, there you go.
You guys see some equipment there?
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I was interested in asking about that piece too, man. I never in my life seen that.
So I'm in my backyard. That is Shawn Porter's house right there.
Dang.
That's nice.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Wow, you guys are neighbors. That's dope.
Yeah.
It walked to the gym.
Jim is a white guy that comes to Vegas. Jim is a white guy that comes to Vegas looking for escorts. I have a performance center. Anyway, it's a lot like what we did over there at the Porter High Performance Center, minus the boxing ring, minus the hyperbaric chamber, which is here, but we can't set it up because of the heat. But we do have the cold tub, the cryogenics. So
nice.
Yeah, that's important, man.
So
good looking.
Yeah,
Good look.
I was just getting on Sean's ass the other day. I was like, listen, dude, I don't know how you're gonna do it, and it ain't your fault that you can't do it, but we got to get it done. He's like, what? I said, we got to get some kind of recovery because we can't go to places to get a massage. We can't go anywhere to get into a hot tub. I said, we're going to have to fire up this cold tub, and then you're going to have to, do a lot more stretching than you're doing. And then I'm going to lean on Wade and to do more in the stretching for you as well. But because his body is going to start breaking down because we've been working hard for a few weeks now. And, it's just you especially when you can't move, even though we're working out, but we can't really go places and do things. So throughout the day where you would normally be maybe walking around and doing different things, on your daily activities, your body could loosen up, your legs could loosen up. And now we're sitting on the couch, we're sitting at the table, we're laying in the bed.
Absolutely. Ken, let me ask you, by the way, Mario Munguia here. Thank you for joining us. We've seen Shawn.
Can I use your name when you're not around? That sounds cool as hell.
Of course. Mario Munguia, just like that. I've heard you speak a little Spanish before, so I know you could say it.
No, listen. That wasn't me.
So listen, we've seen Shawn do some interviews, and everybody's kind of doing their interviews right now. It's the only thing we can do. And, we keep hearing him talk about different fights, and people keep asking him about Terence Crawford. And the one thing that he said that has gotten everybody's attention is that before that fight could take place, there has to be a meeting between the two. What I'm wondering is, what does that meeting look like? Is it planned out? I mean, is there any plans for that to happen? Where does that sit? Where does that stand right now?
Honestly, that is some Shawn Porter stuff. I have absolutely nothing to do with it. He came up with that idea on his own. And it's pretty funny, but because myself, him, and another very, very influential person who we won't name, who you don't get to see and you ain't get no pictures of, all had a meeting.
Does it rhyme with Spayman?
What was that?
Does it rhyme with Spayman?
I don't. Is that a word?
It is not.
Anyway, anyway, we had a sit down, and we sat down for a good 30 to 45 minutes, and that was one of the discussions that was on the table, and he asked us if he could speak to Terence. And of course, we said, yeah, why not? You can speak to him, but when it comes time to do the business and handle things the way they need to be handled, you gotta leave that to the people that get paid to do that. We haven't revisited that with him. I don't know, if he pursued it. I don't know if he spoke to him. I do know. He told me yesterday when he was here working out that he will come over on your show now. So I asked him, and he said he will come on there. So you guys could ask him yourself.
Perfect. So I guess what we could ask you is I went back and listened to the last interview that we had done with you. I think it was like 2 months ago or maybe a little more. But we were talking this very same topic, and you said Bob has your number, his assistant has your number, DeBuff has your number. So I'm wondering, since the last interview, has anyone from Top Rank, Bo Mac, Terence, anyone slightly involved, even remotely involved with that side of the street, called you or contacted you about this?
No, absolutely not. No one, not one call, not one text, not one, no type of contact at all. And I could say because of what we're dealing with now, the quarantine, that it's not a priority for people on their list. But the conversation that we had was well before this happened. So if they were planning on doing it, if they had any intentions of doing it, at that very time, they were doing a lot of interviews and they were mentioning Shawn's name. It could have been, an easy thing to make that phone call. Like I said, they do have my number. I have theirs as well. I won't go out of my way to pursue something like that. And what you guys got to understand is it's kind of the cat and mouse, or the guy trying to get the girl to go out on a date with him. You really don't want to be. You really don't want to be the one that looks like you're desperate to, go out on a date, or you don't, want to really show your hand. So, but they did a lot of talking at that time. There were a lot of interviews going on. I think they were in New York that week, and they were doing a lot of interviews. So it just made sense when Ness asked me the question. I said, "Hey, they got my number. They know how to contact me. I've, been to the office before. I've, sat down with him before on numerous occasions. So nothing has happened."
Ken, and where are you guys focused on? Do you guys have a particular trajectory that you guys want to go to? I believe, I would assume that you guys want the top fights.
Yes, Shawn has mentioned that on numerous occasions, and I back him up 1,000% on that. We don't want to take a step back, even though we have a situation. Everyone has to deal with this now. Not just us, you guys have to deal with this, and not just just reporting boxing. You guys have to deal with this in real life, in real time. This thing's real, and I understand that everybody's got what they got going on. I'm not in a hurry to. Well, I won't be going back to any boxing gyms. That's not going to happen. We're going to do probably 90 to 95% of what we do in preparation for a fight right here. When we switch it over to, sparring, that's going to be, it's going to be very
controlled.
It's going to be, yeah, it's going to, yeah, that's a good word for it. It's going to be, we're going to move stealthily. We're going to move carefully. We're going to move. You've been to my training center before, so you guys I
Beautiful.
think you have as well. You guys remember shoes came off and we were
Uh,
always cleaning the place and I was always walking around cleaning. And now it's even more so that type of situation. As I can say, it'll have to be a situation where we have a private gym to go to spar twice a week, certain hours we will be there. We make sure that no one else is there. And then also, I can't trust anyone to clean it the way I want it to be clean. So we'll bring our own cleaning crew in. So now when you go to camp, you don't just go to camp with sparring partners and strength conditioning coach and nutritionists or sparring partners and other people like that. Now you go to camp with a cleaning crew. You go to camp with some people that you walk into a place and they're doing it right there in front of me so that I can see that we're going to be safe. And then before we leave there, and everything we're doing while we're sparring, while we're doing everything we're doing, I mean, there's so much stuff that's going to have to take place now that we never had to deal with before. Sparring partner have to be tested. Shawn's got to be tested. I got to be tested. Everybody's got to be tested. It's going to be a minimal amount of people that are even involved with us in what we do, that are involved with us on a day-to-day basis in our life. So, um, moving forward, I want the big fights, only the big fights. How do you pull that stuff off with what's going on now? I have a few ideas about it, but they all pretty much come down to a very small setting and some pay-per-view situations.
Mm, okay, and I'm starting to understand your ideology behind this. And by the way, I share your ideology behind this. Better safe than sorry. But let me ask you this, because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you this. There's been a lot of talks about islands and studio fights and fights without fans and all of that stuff. Let's say that the months the months go by and y'all are approached to do a fight without fans, a studio type of setting, and they can assure you that everyone's going to get tested and they can assure you that they're going to do their best. They're going to put their best foot forward in terms of safety. Would that still be enough for y'all to want to head into a fight? Or for you, is it not until everything is passed and we can guarantee everyone's safety 100%?
Well, we want as many guarantees as we can get. We want to make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to be done. I'm definitely open to. All right, let me back up into my memory for a second. When I was a little kid, in the '80s, in the early '80s, they before the WWF became really big, they had these small wrestling associations, and they would literally put on a wrestling match in a studio of a TV station, of a local TV station, right? And you'd have a crowd there. And that crowd were, just people that they picked randomly or people that stood in line and got out there early enough for the wrestling matches. So you would see these small interviews done where it'd be like just the interviewer and two wrestlers standing there arguing and going back and forth and all this. I can see us being involved with that type of promotion for a fight. But then I also see, when you go into, let's say, a Pacquiao fight or Spence fight or Porter fight against big names against each other, they're going to have to, take it to a bigger venue, and how they go about choosing who they allow to come in, how many people are allowed to watch, what they do on the floor as far as ringside seating and things like that, how many people they allow into the camps. I think it's going to be very minimal. I see it as being, myself, Shawn, a cut man, and that's it. Also, you're looking at, the minimal as far as judges and referees and the inspectors, and everyone's got to be tested prior to the fight. And then everyone's got to be tested afterwards, and everybody's crossing their fingers that nobody fails the test, because that means if anyone that was in that locker room that night, which I ain't letting nobody in my locker room, can't come in there no more, Ness. That's just not happening, man. I'm here to see Ken. I'm here to see Ken. No, you're not.
Just send me one of
No,
them
you're not.
tests.
But I
Send me
mean,
one of
it's
them
going to be
tests.
so many things that have to be done, But yeah, I definitely would be open to all of those things if the right protocols, if they put the information out to us of how they're going to go about doing it and what is going to be done. And I'm just speculating on my behalf, but I see it as the new wave. I don't see a lot of people going to rush and jump on a plane and fly to Vegas and be around a lot of people. So I see it as the new movement where people just sit in their living room and watch the big fights. More people will be at home now watching. Pay-per-view should do very well. And then also, when guys are just starting out their pro careers, 4-rounders and 6-rounders, they're going to have to create some type of app, which I'm sure they already have, but they're going to have to create some type of app for those guys so that people can see those fights if they want to, purchase that and pay a monthly subscription or something like that. And then there's you guys. You guys got to come up with something that gets you guys in the door some kind of way, not necessarily physically in there, but you got to get a camera in there some kind of way. You guys got to figure out something.
Yeah.
Definitely. Man,
Well,
that's such a great idea though, to have like a tier program where you could like, let's say you buy the pay-per-view for like $70, but then like, you could pay like $80 for the undercards, and that helps to get everybody paid like that, especially the undercard guys. That's a really good idea. Go ahead, Ness. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no, go ahead, Ken.
No, I think that's probably the direction it's going. I don't know that for certain, but I know certain people in certain places. They're working on that stuff right now. They're working on that, and I know that it's going to be like a 4 to 6 week deal. Like it's not going to be, oh, you guys, this fight is coming in 3 months. Nah, it's not. It's going to be a call, and then after that, after that phone call, you got to be ready.
Do you necessarily want Shawn on that first wave though? Like, I mean, there's no. I mean, on the outside looking in, you figure there's no rush to get back in the ring this year. If you're Shawn Porter, you guys should be. He just had a kid. You should be able to take the rest of the year off just for safety, right? No.
I mean, if there's no reason, if you can show that people are safe, that what we're trying to do is safe, there's no reason why we shouldn't fight. I'm all for fighting. Again, if you minimize the people that are in the locker room, meaning there's not going to be an undercard with 10 guys fighting on the undercard, all sharing the same locker room before we get there. That locker room has to be one that dressing room has to be one that's specifically for us, and no one's used it that day at all. If you minimize the people that are involved with the ring and close up and personal, if put together a protocol of safety, and of course, following the government guidelines and things like that, and making sure that everyone is tested and everything. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be fighting this year. I want to fight this year. We got to fight. We need to fight.
Ken, a lot of the top fighters right now, well, maybe I'm going a little bit too far by saying a lot, but some of the top fighters are having trouble accepting fighting in a crowdless setting, with ticket sales and gate money at stake. How do you feel about, pay cuts possibly being made in these purses?
Let's not call it pay cuts. Let's call it restructuring of contracts.
I like that. Corporate America.
Yeah. I definitely know those things are going to happen. There's no way around that because of everything that's going on. But I think boxing could get back in there quicker than, say, the NFL with 45-man rosters or the NBA with 12-man rosters. I think, you know, the venue that you need to put the football game in on, just like this new stadium that they built here for the Raiders, holding 60 or 70 or 80,000 people. We don't need that to perform. As far as fighters and fighting in that situation, me myself as a former fighter and obviously a trainer, all we need is the person that we're fighting. That's all we need. We need to know who we're fighting, and it's got to be someone that we, look at their record, or there's a title on the line or something to that effect, that builds it up for us. And that's it. That's all we need. Any other fighter who says he can't fight without having a large crowd there, then you're truly not a fighter, and you're probably fighting just for money, and that's the wrong reason to do it. So, I mean, the money means a lot, obviously, but if everybody's in the same situation, meaning everybody coming back has to restructure the things they're doing, and everybody's got to make some type of adjustments to everything that's going on. If we want to get back in there, then everybody's got to do it.
All right, so we got some questions from the people. Any of these you don't want to answer, don't answer, because I wouldn't ask you this first one. And again, you don't have to answer because I am not interested. Dual Ingram says, if it's not too personal, where did things go wrong with barbershop conversations, aka Fred?
That's a pretty good question. I personally, and you say, where did things go wrong? Well, I'm gonna use Ness as an example real quick, even though he wouldn't personally touch this kind of question. Me and Ness go back a ways, and I like to say we go back very far. Okay, it could be to somebody else a couple years, but to me, it seems like I've known Ness as long as I've been involved with boxing. But I haven't. But he's that kind of guy with me. So when me and Ness had a situation at one time that maybe he didn't know about, that I was unhappy about, he came to me and he said, "Hey, Ken, what's going on?" I explained to him what it was, and he replied like a man supposed to, "Hey, what do we need to do? What do I need to do to make this right?" He made it right. We moved forward, and that's the end of the situation. We never revisited it again. It never made it any further than him and I having that small conversation. When this guy became disrespectful, and I came to him and I said, "Hey, man, I need to talk to you," he froze and he didn't want to talk to me. So in that situation, when he didn't want to talk to me, I felt like, you know what? If you don't want to talk to me, then you need to stop talking and stop, adding fuel to the fire and making things, worse. And he continued, and obviously everybody knows that he continued with that kind of stuff. And then it came to what it came to. But, any specifics or anything like that, nah, there's no reason to go anything specific. And just know and understand that, we're all men. We all respect each other. If I see Ness or I see one of these guys, or if I see a fan somewhere, anyone, I give them 100% of the respect they deserve. And when someone gets out of line, whoever that might be, and being, disrespectful, and someone says, "Hey, man, I don't like this, and we need to discuss it," and the person is not willing to discuss it, but they also at the same time continue to make things worse, then, those kind of situations build up to what they did. And, where the situation he is speaks for itself. If you look around and you see enough going on with him, that speaks for itself.
We got Sway says, good evening, Mr. Porter. This is Sway from New York. What would you like Shawn's next 3 fights to be?
Is that the Sway, or this just somebody using his name for me?
I wouldn't
That
be
the
able.
real Sway?
I wouldn't be able to know.
Is it the real Sway? Yeah. In no particular order. In no particular order. And the reason I say in no particular order is because, with everything that's going on with the quarantine, we can't make no predictions. But then also just, what a wish list looks like, or what we would love to have. Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman. I would love to say that that could be something that could happen, but there's really no way that we can say that. But we definitely would welcome all 3 of those fights, in no particular order, But yeah, those 3 right there.
We got Rue in the 504. New Orleans says, was there a rematch clause for the Spence fight? If not, why not?
Well, first of all, guys, boxing ain't what you guys always know it to be. So, when you're presented something like that and you're told that that's it and that's all, you got a choice. The choice could have been we didn't take the fight and you guys would have never seen it. The choice was we took it.
Did Earl?
There is no rematch clause.
What did Earl have a rematch clause?
No.
Oh wow, no rematch either way. Okay, that was fair then.
No.
We have David Maldonado says, what's going on, Mr. Porter? Being that your son Shawn has been in the ring with some serious competition in some intense level fights, bases on talks you and Shawn must have had. Who between these fighters are the hardest punchers, in what order? Between Spence, Danny, and Keith Thurman.
Sorry, guys. Shawn doesn't talk to me about that kind of stuff. And when I've inquired a few times to, hey, man, how was that? Dude caught you right there, whatever. Nah, it wasn't all that. So he kind of downplays it. I would say to the naked eye, I would say to the naked eye that or not to the necessarily naked eye, to my eye, that it's there's a close race between Thurman and Errol Spence, and maybe now. Well, then again, now that Errol's been in his situation, we don't really know how he comes back from that. But yeah, I would say to my eyes, those 2 were close. On the other side of that, I'll go ahead and speak for Shawn, which he don't speak on that kind of stuff. But on the other side of that, you got to, you're giving some, you're taking some, and it's part of what we deal with. And I think he's done pretty good, giving them as well as taking them.
All right, we got Victor Banuelo says, what's up, coach? This is Victor from California. My question is, do you believe that fighters of today would be able to hang with the champions of the 70s and 80s? By the way, Shawn Porter versus Keith Thurman is one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. Thank you for all your hard work. Hashtag my generation is great.
I would venture to say that you'd have to pick out some specific fighters that you want to match up against some of the guys today, and then we could have that conversation. Off the top of my head, I'm going to lean towards the guys in the 70s and 80s over the guys now. But, again, I think you'd have to pick out some specific guys, name a specific guy against another specific guy from this era, and the style of that fighter compared to the style of that fighter. Shawn Porter does not match up well with Tommy Hitman Hearns. It's not a good matchup for Shawn Porter. But it's just something. It's fun to talk about that kind of stuff, and I think you wanna make some specific names against some specific guys, and it comes out. You can get a better answer out of it.
All right, we got Steve in Chicago says, thank you for coming on the show. What has Shawn done to stay active during the COVID pandemic, and how soon do you believe he'll be fighting once things get going? Also, forgot to add, I enjoy Shawn's insight and commentary on PBC and Fox. Just a shout out to Shawn.
Thank you. I think he's doing pretty good with that. Um, yeah, they offered him another contract and he signed it. But now that we've had this happen, what happens with those deals? And as far as what he's been doing to stay active, we are training here. I put it together and it's coming along really well. It should be completed this week. Here's some of the stuff we're doing here at the home. And that is an ab machine, and that's an ab coaster. And there's a treadmill. And there you have pull-ups, push-ups, dips. And this is the Helix. And that's the one you're seeing him doing the little exercises on where he's going down with his legs. Over here, you got a row machine. And I just had this completed today. What you see here, this new AstroTurf, they finished this today, actually, this morning. Wow. So all of that equipment will be moved over here Monday. I'm not lifting it. Shawn and Wade will come early Monday, and we're moving all of that equipment over here and strategically position it. Here we have the tire that we flip, and we're doing different exercises off of it. This is one of our heavy bags hanging here, but sometime Monday or Tuesday, the new heavy bag rack will be brought in. It's going to hold 2 heavy bags and 2 speed bags, and it will be planted into that ground. They're finishing up on that with a black coat right now. And
whoa, that tire! I'm sorry, that tire flipping station, are you able to add more weight to that?
Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah,
whoa,
it's ridiculous.
That is crazy.
It's at 180 pounds right now, but we can add up to get it up to 250 pounds.
Oh man, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I'll be honest with you guys right now, it is a struggle for me to move it, lift it, flip it, whatever you want to hell call it. It's a struggle right now. At 180. So I got to master it at 180. Shawn hasn't tried to lift it yet. He hasn't been courageous or ambitious yet. But yeah, that's what we're doing over here, and that's how we're staying in shape. And then this little pool is cool to work out in, but I mean, with everything that's going on now, we don't expect to be going to anybody's pool, so we have to just use this one right here.
Definitely.
Understandable.
And of course, we got some new toys from Mr. Wade. I got some new toys for myself, little gadgets and different things that we're gonna be doing. So we'll have about a dozen stations set up here, and I'm calling it the backyard barbecue. When I invite you over for the backyard barbecue, don't think you coming to get something to eat. Because June in this backyard, 3 minutes on each machine, eat 3 minutes at each station, buddy. By the time you get, if you're able to make it to 10 rounds or 12 rounds, you're done. You don't need anything else. That'll be it. You're cooked.
How often does it rain out there? Because I'm just like wondering about.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Well, we experienced a little bit of rain, more than we normally do, and we put the stuff back underneath the patio here, but we also cover it up
Okay.
with these. We cover stuff up. So we even got more stuff over here.
Okay.
Mm.
We got more stuff. We got more stuff in boxes. We got more stuff in storage, you know. So, but we're getting some customized covers made by a Harley Davidson dealership. What they cover the Harleys with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna be doing. But like the tire right here. We take something like this
Got the tarp on it.
Okay.
and we cover it up, and then we put something on it to keep it
Damn.
weighted down, and then we good.
Okay. Okay.
Man, that thing is crazy.
So
Yeah, we actually have that half
he's
tire in
gonna
the
be in
gym.
excellent shape. When it's time for us to go, he'll be in excellent shape.
We got the next one coming from King Amin in Essex. He says, I was an early critic of Shawn's boxing style, but you guys made me appreciate Shawn's world-class ability and athleticism. So much respect to you both for the current and continued success. My question is, was there ever a boxing business or personal decision between you and Shawn that tested each aspect of your relationship as far as father, coach, trainer, etc.?
I wouldn't say anything to do with boxing. You know, he got married, so that changed things in a lot of ways. That changed things, but as far as boxing, as far as the business of the boxing, no. As far as the management of the boxing, no. You know, there's always going to be some stuff that you deal with along the way in a camp, but you know the dynamics that of our relationship, I don't expect anybody else to understand that, but let me put it to you this way, and you figure it out from there. Shawn bought a house. Well, he lived with me till he was 28 years old. So he bought a house a few years ago. That house is 2 lights away from me. And I said, Shawn, why you buy a house right up the street? He's like, oh, I thought it'd be cool. Right? Then he gets married, and the dude buys a house right across the it ain't even across the street. I can get to his house in like 2 minutes. So, you know, is that somebody that you think they don't get along or they got problems or there's situations or something? No. He's over here every day working out, and it's great for him. It's great for his family. It's great for his son. But of course, you know, we still need to separate them in order to get him ready for a fight. But right now, this is what we're all dealing with. So no, there's been nothing like that at all. Um, and you know, like I said, you going through camps, you're gonna have to push buttons to get a fighter to get him where you need him to be, and you're gonna have to make him do things that he doesn't want to do. And of course, now that he's married, there's things that he, you know, might want to do, but his wife don't want him to go do that day. And you know, you got those little situations going on, and that's why you know somebody like Larry Wade is great to have, because I'd be like, Larry, I ain't got time for that shit, man. You go over there, and you tell Shawn whatever. And you know, my daughter-in-law, she's beautiful. God bless her heart. We've never had any words, never had no situations at all. But I'm quite sure there's lots of times she don't want Shawn to leave, and she wants Shawn to, you know, do family stuff. So we balancing that now. We're balancing that. But that's
All
where we
right.
at.
We got Supreme Tax says, why did Shawn drop so low in the rankings after the Brook fight? Shout out from the Headbangers out in D.C. Keep doing what you're doing, coach.
Okay, guys. The shortest version, and you fill in the blanks. That was a situation that we called the IBF president and we asked him, "Hey, this was your champion 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. It wasn't 8. It wasn't hadn't even got to 8 weeks before the rankings came out. And I said, he's not even in your top 25. How can that be? And the guy said, well, if you give me your name and he was just stuttering with it, and your phone number, I'll give you a call back. I think that's been about 5 or 6 years. I never received that phone call. So, they never wanted us to be able to fight that guy again. They made sure of that.
So what was it a thing that, like, after you noticed you were dropped out of the top 25, did you guys stop paying for IBF sanctioning fees altogether?
We never fought anything else. We never did anything else with the IBF since that day.
So
No, we didn't until the Spence fight.
I was just about to say, what would you say if I told you you're at number 10? Which still doesn't make sense when you were just in a unification.
Come on, man. Number 10.
10 on the IBF.
Come on, man.
Number 1 on the WBC.
Yeah. There's a lot of business that goes on, and I know you know that.
Yeah,
by now.
There's
a lot of business that goes on, and those sanctioning bodies do what they feel is best for their business. So that part of it, maybe with this thing that we got going on now, and some of the rumors that I've heard about PBC wanting to do a belt and things like that, maybe that part of it isn't going to be as relevant as it used to be. I know for me personally, and I said this a long time ago, when did we fight Broner? 2014?
I think
we fought
15.
Broner in 2014. They offered a title for that fight. And
2015 for Broner.
2015, okay. 5 years. So they offered a title for that fight, and in the same breath that they were offering a title, they said, but if you don't want to fight for one, you ain't got to pay that sanctioning fee. And I said, oh, shit, we ain't fighting for no title then. Let's go. So we fought, and there was no sanctioning fee. And the kid took all of his money home. So for me personally, I mean, I'm not being mean. I'm not being against any sanctioning bodies. I got great relationships with a lot of people that are involved with, the WBC especially, But, if you're telling me that these belts I have here easily have cost my kid.
We're back in progress, though.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, if you're telling me that this has cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars, and when it's over and said and done, he doesn't get anything back in return, we don't need any more belts. This shit's full. And now he's got like 3 belts at his house, I believe. So
yeah, I was about to say, because we don't see the WBC there, so we know that one got to be with him.
Yeah, he got the WBC. But no, not it's not something that I have to have. We don't have to fight for a title. I'll fight Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman because of who they are, So however they decide to go about doing it is up to them. But I'm not going to be jumping up and down saying, "Oh, you got to put the title on the line." No, you just got to put the right amount of revenue, put the safety together, make sure everybody is doing the things they're supposed to be doing, and let these guys fight.
All right, we got Ryan Mesa in Cali says, what up, coach, a.k.a. Dempsey. He says, just want to congratulate you on all your success as a boxing trainer. From all my years of being around the sport of boxing and watching it, Shawn is without a doubt one of the most disciplined fighters outside the ring this sport has seen. Was there ever a time you had to get on his case about not taking something seriously regards to the sport of boxing?
I would almost say no, but we had the Ugas situation where I backed away from Shawn and allowed Shawn to figure things out himself as he was going about his way to bring his weight down, and he didn't make it, and I had to allow him to do that, like fathers do. Just two ways to learn. You can listen or you can learn from the hardest teacher, which is experience. So I became not the trainer that day. I became the father, and I stepped back and let him try to figure that out. And when it didn't go his way, then I stepped back in as a father and as a trainer and made sure that he made the weight. But, those are situations that, happen with these guys. And it's all a process of everything that they're doing. So, I can look at it now, and hopefully he looks at it now and he says, oh, I don't want to do that again. I'm not going to try to do it myself. I'm going to stick with the protocol that we had in place and the people that we had in place and do things the way it's supposed to be done.
All right, we got Big Casual says, what's good, coach? At what weight class do you see your son ending his career at, since he is known for defeating bigger, well-known boxers in the amateurs, a la Jacobs and Usyk?
Yeah, I think we're probably not too far away from possibly, obviously you want to get those big fights that are there if you can get them, if they can be made. But we're probably not too far away from him moving to 154 after he's, tested himself with those guys and got those big fights and see how he's fared with those. That might be, that farewell tour. That might be it for him. Moving to 54, he definitely won't be moving any further than that. His first title fight, NABO 154 championship on ESPN, in his 11th professional fight. We weighed in at 153. The other guy weighed in at 153. And then the next day, the guy was 175 pounds. So, and he was 6'1" and he was left-handed. So we knew that couldn't be a situation that we were up against throughout his career. I'll go ahead and say that, he's not ready to move yet because he's, still able to do what he's doing and compete and be, very good in his competition. But 54 would probably be the highest that he would go.
Since you're talking about Shawn being able to fight at 54, I know you don't follow social media as much as we do, but Terence Crawford and Jermell Charlo got into a back and forth, and Crawford said, "Man, don't make me show you who the real lion is," and they were like, back and forth, and you need a good antagonist to bring out that bud that will fire up press conferences, kind of like Hank Lundy did and Jose Benavidez did. So we had Bob on the show. Bob says that's a great opponent, but I'm starting to think Bob just says what you want to hear. But what do you think about that fight? Break it down. Can Bud actually challenge Jermell Charlo?
That's that's very ambitious on his behalf to actually get to fight night. At home on your phone or at home on your computer, you're feeling strong, you're feeling good, you're feeling great. Getting to fight night is a whole different animal. And when you're dealing with guys, and I'm going to say like the Charlos, elite fighters in their weight class, naturally bigger men, to move up to that weight class is a disadvantage for Crawford. So, I don't think that's the best situation for him. And there's a lot of other great fights there for him right now. Obviously, you guys are mentioning Shawn. I think Shawn and Bud make a great fight. The styles, it makes it exciting fight. It's going to, make people get up out of their seats. I think that's a great fight. Of course, him up against a Spence or up against a Thurman, or even him fighting Danny Garcia because they fought in the amateurs. Those are all great fights. We love to see them, and we love to see those fights. I believe before he moves up to what's that? 2 weight classes up, or is it one?
Nah, one. It would be one since he's at 47. But
Okay.
wouldn't this
Because I
be kind of like coming out of nowhere? And can it get as big as a Gennady, Brook, Khan, Canelo, Mikey, Earl? Is this one of those fights where the man moves up and it is a pay-per-view? It is a big fight that comes out of nowhere.
don't like the Khan Canelo, and I definitely don't like the Errol Spence and the Mikey Garcia situation. Um, I just don't see that being a. He wouldn't be putting himself in a position to excel that night. Giving up that much weight and giving up that much, you know, um, power and height. His boxing skill level is right there, if not better, with anybody in the world.
All right, Ken.
His
So let
skill
me
level
let
is
me let me give it to you from this angle, and maybe you have already thought about it. I just want to bring it to you from every side of the street, right? Because Tony Harrison, some could argue, while he's bigger than Bud, he isn't as good as a boxer as Bud, and he was having a lot of success both times. Whether you thought he won or not the first time, he had a lot of success. Isn't Bud a superior boxer?
Yeah, I believe Bud is a superior boxer. His skill level is right there, if not better than anybody, in 47, 54, 60. I mean, he's right there with everybody, But again, you know, it's us sitting here talking about it. And then on fight night, when you go in the ring and as high as you got that night was 155 pounds, and the other guys 175 and 180. And trust me, when I say the guys eat as much as they can in the morning for breakfast, and then they sit there with a jug of water all day and keep hydrating, and then they go out for lunch and they eat more than they should at that point because they want that advantage, and then they come back again at dinner and they do it. And you know, Bud's body won't be able to carry that. I'm not saying that his skill level moves with him no matter what, but his body won't be able to go that way. I know from my personal experience with Shawn, if we're able to get him to 154 pounds on fight night, we're doing good. We're doing good because first, if you take the weight off the right way, if you're living the right way, pretty much when you're not fighting, and don't allow yourself to blow up, then your body's not going to blow up on fight night. And then if you take it down the right way, your body's going to stop. Your stomach, your diaphragm is going to say, okay, I ate enough. I can't eat anymore. I can't drink anymore. And you're just not going to, you're not going to blow up. And so then that gives the other guy a big advantage. And I read something where Errol said, he was 190 before he fought Shawn. Oh, you're pretty close to that on fight night. It is what it is, but I just don't think that that's a good situation. But, his skill level is there. Yeah, his skill for skill, pound for pound, he's with anybody there. I just would love to have the opportunity to find out what happens when Shawn comes after him, when Shawn presses him, what happens when, Shawn doesn't stop, when he lands a good shot and Shawn keeps coming, what happens when Shawn starts to land good shots on him. I want that situation, and of course, both guys are closer in weight on fight night.
Nah, look, Khan and Shawn don't have anything in common, but I happened to rewatch that fight this morning, and Khan had success jumping in, but he was jumping in real scary, you know, and he did that 1-2-3 kind of Pacquiao, copy, but Crawford was countering him with the right hook when he was in the southpaw position, and when he wasn't, when he was in the orthodox, he would just counter over that jab. Like, he's nice, man. He's nice, but I think he's small. What's the probability you give Shawn of winning that fight versus Crawford? And the reason I ask is because, when Bob was so open-minded to doing the fight, now all of a sudden he's saying even if Crawford and Shawn came to an agreement, where the hell would we get the money from? And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, first it was, they got to talk. Now it's like there's no money when Shawn just did a successful pay-per-view. So why wouldn't you be able to do a pay-per-view with Bud? And I'm sure the world would get excited if Bud and Shawn were in that same conversation.
Well, I got to go with my fighter every day, all day to win the fight. And for us, being in the situation of just coming off a decision that didn't go his way, we got nothing to lose. So let's go for it. That's the way I look at it. I there's no holds bar on our end. For them to say that there's no money there, or where you get the money from.
I think they were.
I received calls from the desert. There's money over there.
I was talking. I think Ness. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were alluding more to what he was saying about, the COVID times and, the not the right money to be made in that aspect of it. With pay-per-views and, Arum was talking about that. People are not going to be.
I disagree. Like Ken said earlier in the interview, everyone's home, so pay-per-view might do better right now.
Well, his argument.
Yeah, I believe it would. Don't you think so?
Look, I would assume so, and who knows how the economy is right now, and who's able to shell out money for that. But I think Arum, and quote, it's in quote, that he was basically talking about that people are usually, this is his opinion probably, right? That people usually buy pay-per-views when they're together, in the houses and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Fight parties, okay.
Fight parties and stuff like that. So. He was not saying that there wasn't money to be made with Shawn. Is that according to the COVID times right now? I guess that fight right now, and I'll even quote what he said. He said, what did he say? Obviously, even if you rely on the pay-per-view revenue, who knows how robust it'll be. People who watch pay-per-view usually do it with a whole group of people in their homes. And who knows when people are going to be willing to open up their homes to a substantial number of people. There's a lot of uncertainty now. We've got to go slow. We can't answer the questions as if we were back in the old days when things were normal.
I can respect that, but at the same time, the other side of that argument for me is people are not going to be running to jump on a plane to come to Las Vegas. People are not going to be rushing to go to the Staples Center. They're not going to rush to go to the Barclays Center. They're more apt to, if you give them a choice now, they're going to turn on Netflix or they're going to turn on some kind of entertainment on TV. And also, I think that if you're saying fight parties, I think people are probably more they would lean more towards, okay, I can pick the people who I want to come to my house, close family members, whoever it is. We love boxing. There's a big fight on, and we can all watch it together. Or I think a lot of people just be not necessarily having fight parties, just buying it to watch at home. And I know Bob well enough to know that he's already putting together some kind of packages, some kind of app, something to be selling to people, to let people buy his stuff. It's just the way things are going now, So nobody's going to, I personally, I'm not, unless someone I'm training is fighting, I'm not running to these fights anymore. That's over with. I mean, the days of me going to the fights and just being at the weigh-ins and shaking hands and taking pictures. Well, you want to take a picture with me like this? Why don't you take a picture? Take a picture with that guy over there and tell somebody it was me, because it's gonna be the same shot. I mean, I can't mingle and talk with the people the way I used to and do the things that we used to do. That day has passed. And even back then, and you ask Larry Wade or you ask Shawn or anybody who was around 2, 3, 4 years ago, maybe Ness remembers. I kept my guys had to keep hand sanitizer everywhere we went. I was always putting the hand sanitizer. Who's got the hand sanitizer? Who's got the hand sanitizer? And it's just the way things are now. We can't be as free to take selfies, as free to do interviews with everybody that we see. I know Ness. I could do an interview with Ness because I know S. Okay, but this other new guy that just pulls up with his cell phone. No, I gotta go, sir. I gotta go. All right, I just did an interview. I gotta go, and that's just the way things are now. And it's nothing against anybody, but it's just the way life is now. So I think people are going to definitely have an app on their phone or have an app in their home or buy that pay-per-view. And, you might be looking at 2 or 3 pay-per-views in a month from different promoters, and people are just choosing which one they're going to watch.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. And you got to also think about the closed circuit. For me, I grew up in a Mexican household, and we had big, huge family get-togethers for pay-per-views. But at the end of the day, I have a lot of other friends who, when it's fight time, it's bar time. I'm headed to the bar. I'm headed to the club to go watch the fight. Those people can't do that. So those are the numbers. When they talk about 250,000 buys, that's not how many people saw the fight. Millions upon millions of people saw the fight. That's how many people purchase the fight. Yeah. Now when you're in a position where those people can't go to a bar and pay a $5 cover charge, a $10 cover charge for closed circuit, they're going to be doing more pay-per-views. Yes, sir.
But it also is going to, obviously is going to open it up to more illegal streams, which is something we can't control at the moment. We got a few more, Ken. I don't know you've been on an hour already. If you're good to go.
No, I'm doing this finesse, man.
You're the champ, man.
I'm doing this finesse.
Coach Kenny Porter. We got DBX in the UK who says, hope you're well, Kenny. Do you think Shawn is avoided due to his high punch output and dogged style?
Always has been through the amateur system, through the amateur system and through the pros. And people don't know this part of, it's part of boxing. I mean, guys, Shawn was fighting in his first 10, 15 fights. They got paid more money than Shawn got paid because those guys were coming in with the risk of getting beat or getting knocked out or whatever might happen to them in that fight. They were all making more money than he was. His purse was lower than theirs. And we knew that. And our promoters would say to us, they would say, hey, we got to give this guy, a little bit more than Shawn to get him to come here and to secure this. And then there was also situations where they would bring 2 fighters in and give a guy money just to travel and be there, just in case the other guy pulled out. So it's always been that way, but it's been that way for guys like Errol Spence as well coming up. The guys that he was fighting early on, they had to pay those guys the right amount of money to get in there with Earl. The same thing with some of your other big name fighters along the way, your Canelos and your Amir Khans, and that's just part of the business.
All right, we have Sony Woods who says, hello, Mr. Porter, and happy weekend to you. Shawn's fight versus Earl was epic, but since that fight, Shawn has become, in my eyes, the new boogeyman of the division. When camps resume, and I think an outstanding fight is a rematch of Shawn Porter versus Kell Brook. Your thoughts, sir?
Kell Brook will never fight Shawn Porter. Kell Brook doesn't want to fight Shawn Porter. Kell Brook never mentioned Shawn Porter's name since the day he fought him. Never mentioned his name. There was never any interest in them fighting Shawn Porter. And if you go back and you look at Shawn, or you look at Kell Brook's record, you will see that after Kell Brook fought Shawn Porter, he fought 3 PBC fighters, but never fought Shawn Porter. So it wasn't like they weren't doing business. They were doing business, but So I would love to have rematches with Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, and Kell Brook. The only 2 that I think possibly could happen are Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. I don't think that Kell Brook would ever take that fight. Even though he comes out from hiding every now and again and makes a little bit of noise and talks about what he wants to do or this, that, and that. But, he never mentions us because we would take the fight. Absolutely we would, but he never mentioned us. So there's, it's just
Is there
part
more
of
money in a
what we're doing.
Crawford Brook than there is in a Porter Brook? Because obviously he's coming out calling out Crawford, and you got Bob doing interviews with us saying that Brook is a good option. So why can't you just offer him enough money? Or is it a
I don't
thing?
know where the money is now, man. I don't know what's going on with money. I can't speculate on. I mean, like I said, and I can speak for Shawn. Um, he signed 2 contracts for multiple fights, and then also for Fox Sports. He renewed the contract with Fox Sports. We don't know what's going to happen with either one of those situations now. Life has changed. If Fox comes and says, "Hey, things changed, this happened, or whatever," you just got to accept it. And the names that were on our contract when we signed to fight Errol Spence, and there was a 3-fight deal with a 4th fight option. Does it even still exist? I don't think it does. I think everything gets voided now, and everybody starts from scratch. Unfortunate.
All right. We have we have Brandon Maurice in Ohio, Cincinnati, that says, what's your favorite place to eat in Ohio?
I probably don't have one. It would be a place that is probably, if it's my favorite place in Florida, or my favorite place in Cali, or my favorite place in Las Vegas, Nevada, then they probably have got that in Ohio, and I have to drive far to get to it. It's going to be a Mastro Steakhouse, or one of those type of places. But I mean, there's no particular place that I really go back to Ohio to eat at.
George Foster, the UK, says, stylistically, would Crawford be an easier or greater challenge for Shawn?
It's a great challenge. It's definitely a greater challenge. The guy is switching sides seamlessly. He's got power in both hands. His ring intellect is very high. He's never lost. He's a great fighter. They would make for a great fight. To try to get him out of his hookup, to get him out of his comfort zone, to ruffle his feathers, to shake his ass up, that would be great.
All right. We got I am G Mart says, hello, Mr. Porter. My question, if ever happened a rematch between Shawn Porter and Brook, how do you see the fight? You think Shawn can get an easy win over Brook? Still got some left in him? If so, these guys need to really proofread. If so, was any talk about a rematch? All right, so he basically said there was no rematch. He don't want to fight you already, but you can tell us how would it go if he ever decided to fight you?
Well, Shawn was locked into trying to knock that guy out when they fought. And I remember he came back after the first round, and I said to him in the corner, I said, listen, every time you come in, this guy's going to lock you up. So you got to throw your combination and go on either side of him. Make your move, put your combination together, and go to either side. He locked into what he was doing and didn't listen to me and kept getting tied up the whole entire night. He's evolved. He's gotten a lot better since then as far as, listening to what he's being told to do and doing it the right way. So I definitely feel that, it's a winnable fight for him. I see him winning that fight, but, I don't see us getting that fight. It's not something that, I'm thinking about it all.
All right, Killer Kells in Cali says, who do you have in a Crawford versus Jamel Charlo at 154? You answered that. Just wanted to give him a shout out. We got Stainless in Detroit says, Kenny, no question. Just thanks for always coming back to the Boxing Voice. And you and your son have done a tremendous job of representing not only yourselves or Ohio, but most importantly for me, black men and black fathers. Keep up that great work. Peace, Coach. The Boxing Voice for life.
Yeah, I partially grew up in Detroit. My grandmother lived there, right off of Woodward Avenue, and I took Sean back and forth there to the Kronk shows all the time when he was growing up because they were the only ones that would even fight him. They call, hey, you got any fighters for our show? I said, I got Sean. And like, oh, you got Sean? Yeah, we got Sean. So it's so cool now to, one of my coaching buddies that I grew up coaching with, Sugar Hill out of Kronk. And we go back all the way to the junior Olympic teams that we coached on together. And all the national teams we coached on together and everything. And I called him after his guy got the win. Tyson Fury won that fight against Deontay Wilder, and I called him up a few weeks later. And we had a conversation, and we talked about all those times where, we were up and down those highways with these guys in vans and cramping, too many people in a car and putting 5 and 6 guys in one hotel room and all those things like that. And now he goes on to win a world championship with Tyson Fury. And of course, I started off Sean in the amateurs, and he went on to win 2 world championships. And it's amazing, man. God has blessed us.
Definitely have both been living out your dreams, man. We got Tyson who says, what's the deal, Mr. Porter? Will Sean be moving up to 154 in the near future? If so, who would Sean have his eyes on? Keep up the good work. Coach, you kind of answered that already. I don't know if you need to touch any more, but you did say
Nah, we're not moving up. We got big fights at 47, and we got this COVID-19 thing that everybody's dealing with. So we just trying to figure it out. But we're pushing. I want to say, give me 2 more weeks with Sean, and Sean is almost fight ready. We doing some amazing things over here. This week he'll start doing 2-a-days. So I think he'll be in better shape over here with everything we're doing with him than he normally would be because it's right here and he can't run from it.
All right. We have Earthquake says, salute to you, Mr. Porter. Thanks for coming on the Boxing Voice. Always love your insight. Just wondering, what's your favorite fight to watch as a fan? Or the one that you've gone back and watched the most throughout your years?
Talking about just any boxing matches
Yes.
he referring to?
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, Hagler Hearns, Hagler Leonard, Ali Frazier. Those are some of the top 3 that stand out. Douglas Tyson, Holyfield Bowe. Woo, Holyfield Bowe. Great fights, Holyfield Bowe, all of them.
All right, next.
We did that fight study.
Yeah, film study. We did that. Next one is from Thomas High says, this is from Boston Jared. Good evening, Mr. Porter. You recently had Demetrius Andrade in camp to help Sean prepare for his fight with Spence. Who would you pick between Andrade versus Canelo and Andrade versus Charlo, and why?
We didn't have Demetrius in our last camp, but we were in communication with Demetrius. We had him in some earlier camps. Andrade and Canelo. I'm gonna go with Andrade, and then did we say Andrade and
Charlo?
I'm gonna go with Andrade on both of those.
Wow. Okay.
Listen, Andrade or Andrade, take your pick. I asked his dad one time. I said, "Dude, how you pronounce your last name?" Yo, it depends where you're from. Where we're from, They say Andrade, but over here they say Andrade. So take your pick.
That's funny. We got Greatness in Harlem says, peace, Mr. Porter, and blessed to you, to the family. Appreciate your time with us. My initial thoughts on Porter versus Spence is a draw without the knockdown. Porter versus Spence 2, I look forward to. Absolutely. What should be done for a successful training camp? I guess that's the
Well, we
question.
got to do things the way we did them, and I think he's got to play it smarter than he did in that fight. There were times that I was yelling at Shawn through the middle of the fight, where I was yelling at Shawn saying, "Listen, keep your hands up." He was getting too comfortable, and they were exchanging shots, and he got caught with one. But yeah, he got to limit that. He can't allow that type of situation to happen again. He can't allow that to happen against anybody. But yeah, I think we've always had great camps. Pretty much, we've always had great camps, and we continue to try to duplicate that. What we're doing right now is just a pre-camp, and whenever they tell us, that it's over, we can get back in the ring, then we'll go ahead and lock down, the sparring that we need, and there's everything else that goes along with that as far as the precautions. But I see him. I think him and Spence. It needs to be rematched, man. You need to run that back. It was a great fight, and people want to see great fights. You need to run it back.
All right, we have Marcus. Ohio runs boxing. He says, "Hey Kenny, how you doing, Coach? I seen Shawn Porter versus Earl Spence fight at the movie theaters in Columbus, Ohio, and more than half were Earl Spence fans, but by the end of the 10th round, most of them turned into Porter fans, screaming for the Ohio guy. Laugh out loud. I influenced it a little bit, laugh out loud. But anyway, I saw a lot of Earl fans become Porter fans saying they believed Porter still won that fight. My question to you, Coach, since Shawn's stock has risen, do you still think it would be a good idea to have him come back to Ohio and headline against Josecito Lopez or someone else as a comeback home if he don't get a big fight? He would get a lot of support in Ohio. What's your thoughts, Coach?
I'm not against going back, but I'd rather go forward. And thanks, Marcus. I appreciate that. And this isn't the first time, and I've heard it over and over again. And I'm not just saying it because he's my son. I've had guys, man. I was watching that fight. I just knew he was gonna knock your son out, man. Your son made me a believer. I'm an Errol Spence fan, but your son made me a believer. I've heard that story 100 times. I've heard, people at fight parties jumping up and down, screaming all of this stuff about what's going to happen, and then, a few rounds into the middle of the fight or something, those guys got quiet, and the Porter fans were like, "Hey, where's all the noise? Why you're not making no noise anymore?" So, I mean, when you get fights like that, and people, it changes people's perception of who they thought was going to win, and changes who the person that they were going in to root for, changes and makes a fan out of you. You need to do that again. I don't have a problem coming back to Ohio fighting. Obviously, everything else has to come together for it. I love fighting in Vegas, New York, and Cali, but I don't. We could definitely come back to Ohio if they put it together.
Now, I know I said I wanted to stay away from this, but I guess my own selfishness is gonna make me bring
Be
up.
selfish. You should be selfish.
It's gonna
I
make me
told
bring
somebody
up.
that today. Sometimes you have to be selfish.
It's gonna make me bring up Jordan Baker from Florida's question. He said, "Yo, word on the street, Barbershop Conversation sent you a Border Wars contract and you wouldn't sign it. What's going on with that? Border Wars 8 2020. Let's make a deal on the show. You versus Barbershop now, but I just wanted a cheap Border Wars announcement. Don't answer that at all. Moving on to John Feliciano.
Here's the answer.
Nah, you don't need to answer it. It was just a cheap Border Wars shout out. John Feliciano says, I thought Shawn was kind of corny, but he grew on me and is one of my favorite fighters. The intensity is always there. I pray y'all get that Crawford fight because I believe Shawn wins and shocks the world of boxing. So no question,
You
just
know,
good vibes.
and then that makes everything right, don't it? you get that Crawford fight, and you shock the world, and it makes everything right. I mean, I would love it. I would love it.
It does, man. I mean, what? Because look, Shawn's been in some tight fights, and people could say they've gone either way. But if you beat the guy that people perceive to be pound for pound number one, I mean, it depends the circle you in. They call Bud number one or number two, but he's definitely above everyone else. So it would put Shawn on a level that I think only Bud can. I mean, obviously, if he would have beat Spence, then it would have been all roads point to Bud eventually anyway, but I don't know. Last one, because I know we've had you forever. Tracy says, hashtag Spence lost. Coach, my question is, will Porter fight for the IBO? I guess not. Damn, Tracy.
It was a long pause.
I wasn't even ready for that. Who has that? Who is that?
Sebastian Formella. He just beat Thulani Minge from South Africa. Well, Formella.
Are you serious?
Formella's from Germany or Denmark. He just beat Thulani Minge not too long ago, who's from South Africa.
And who did they fight before that?
Betuel Shona, and the most recent fight was Roberto Ariasa, which
no, we're not going over there. No, that's not gonna. we go to the border wars first. Shawn can work my corner. Give me water, take my mouthpiece out before we go to the IBO with Frojolo and Julie and Tito's and all of them dudes. No.
So you never met Jim? No, I'm about to mess up. Wait, is it Jim? Oh man, we have him on this show every Friday, and I can't remember the first name. But all right, as long as the producer isn't named Jim Levine, his name is Jim Levine. No, never met him. No, all right.
Nah. Is that the dude that used to be with Jay-Z?
That's what I was trying to not make that mistake because they have the same last name. But no, he's the president of the IBO. He says he used to be, I guess, like the vice president of the WBO before he moved and created the IBO.
Okay. No disrespect intended at all. And all jokes aside, I would love to meet, anybody that is part of boxing and putting championships, belts and fights together, I'll meet the guy.
Well, Coach, that is all our questions, man. Once again, thank you so much, man. You always give us a lot of time. We appreciate it. And like John Feliciano, man, I hope you guys get that Crawford fight. I think it's a great fight, man. It's a great fight to be made.
We need to do like I said, I spoke to Shawn and asked him would he come on your show, and he said, yeah, I do NAS. We need to make that happen. I'll put you in contact with him.
For sure, man. Appreciate it. For sure.
This week, what it look like?
Whenever the champ is ready, we will make ourselves available. No problem at all. If this time,
this week,
this week is fine. And
what I'm gonna do, what I would like to do is nail it down so that it's no question. It's Shawn, here's your schedule. This week you got Ness.
We're good. Tuesday, same time.
Tuesday at 4. Let me speak to him and see if I can get him to confirm that.
All right. Okay. Tuesday or Monday works for us. It does. I mean, whatever. Again, any day of the week, whatever works for him, we'll cool.
Wake up early. We'll stay up late. Don't matter.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
so much,
Coach.
Thank you, Coach. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ken Porter.
Blessings.
Father, trainer, manager of Shawn Porter, giving us a bunch of time and definitely answering all the people's questions. We appreciate it. Ken, I'm going to go ahead and remove you so you don't have to, waste your time here with us. We do appreciate it. There you have it. That was great. We got some answers. We answered some questions, and we had a good old show there, man. I appreciated everything that he brought, man. He answered those questions candidly. Dual Ingram set me up with those with some of those questions, but whatever. What's up?
No, I said that gym that they're gonna have in the backyard. That's gonna be
it's
lit.
crazy.
Yeah,
like
Yeah, for sure. That stuff was crazy. I think though the one big takeaway here is Bob's wrong. And I don't mean wrong because he said something wrong. I think that he thought he was right. He made an assumption, but you could obviously see that Ken has a very realistic grasp on what's going on right now.
Yeah.
What did he call it? Restructuring.
Unlike Crawford, Mario. Unlike Crawford said in an interview, you got to pay me more to fight in an empty arena, right? Or was that just Teofimo? Wasn't it both?
I don't think. I think it might have been both. Honestly, I think it was because I thought I remember Crawford saying that first before Teofimo, but I could be wrong. I
know Teofimo said that he wouldn't want to fight in front of that, and I'm guessing, and it's pretty obvious that it's because of the money. There's gonna be money lost at the gate.
But that's the thing. I mean, how do you asking someone to pay you more? Like we're trying to put on boxing. Like we can't help the fans not being there and that loss of revenue. So it's like Ken said and Mario said, I love that you chose those words. He understands, and he chose the perfect word by saying restructuring of the contract because that's what's happening. It's a different time, ladies and gentlemen. There's not going to be fans in the crowd, and we can't give you the amount of money that you're expecting. We can give you this, and we can do shows like this. Are you ready? But those are my final thoughts, man. Just want to thank Ken once again. Thank all the Patreons for tuning in and making this possible. As you heard live, we'll be bringing you, Shawn either Monday or Sunday.
I said Tuesday.
Yeah. Monday or Tuesday. I'm bugging with the Sunday.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying any final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts. Listen, I appreciate everything that Ken said as far as restructuring, as far as fighting. Despite the fact that he is very well intended, or has very well intentions to keep everyone safe, and he is not going to take any risk with his fighter/son. At the same time, he's very open to, studio type fights. He brought up wrestling shows, which used to do studios. It didn't used to be these big stadiums and big arenas that WWE fills up today. The wrestling business was much different back in the 70s and 80s. And so, he's very well aware of what the market looks like and what is possible in these times. And I respect that and I appreciate it. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's always good to have Ken Porter on the show, man. He drops some jewels. The amount of experience he got. It's always a fun interview. But I wish I would have, went more into it with him with the restructuring when I asked him how they would feel, because, I mean, where is the restructuring going to go on? I'm curious to know. Because you can't. How are you going to substitute the loss of the gate money? What else are you going to bring into that dynamic in order for the fighters to be paid? Or is it really going to be some pay cuts, or people are just going to have to?
Well, like he said, he don't want to call them pay cuts, but he agreed with y'all that there is going to be less money, and that's why he said restructuring. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he meant that, it's going to be restructuring to a point where, we're still going to be getting the same. Or
no, he seemed very, very understanding that everything. I mean, he even mentioned the fact that Shawn re-signed with Fox, and he even said, who knows if that deal's still valid. You know what I mean? Like he talked about two contracts. I can't remember what the other one was, but he mentioned the Fox Sports contract, and he mentioned another contract, and he just said, who knows what those look like.
He broke news. He said that Shawn signed a Fox commentator contract, and he signed a 3-fight, possible 4-fight deal. 3-fight, 4th option deal. So he already had one with Spence. He got 2 more with the option for a 3rd.
Wow, I like him commentating too, man. I like Shawn's, and it's always a good go when you got a fighter, who's fought in the ring commentating on the sport, because it gives you that, the inside look.
All right, let's go out to these phone lines, get these callers involved here, and see their take on the interview.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes. These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to Ohio Runs Boxing, talk to me.
What's good, man?
What up, champ?
What's good, guys?
Cheers.
Hey, man, you think you slick, man? I caught on, man. I caught on to you with your slickness, your slick install. Kenny didn't catch it.
What
you
install?
He's showing you the belt. You like, oh, huh?
I said the WBC is at Shawn house because he won the WBC versus Danny.
You said the WBC. We know you ain't got the WBC belt. We know he ain't got the WBC belt. Earl got it.
Bruh, you bugging. He got a WBC. He beat Danny. You bugging, bruh. You thinking negatively. I was thinking about their old belt because it's a case.
Okay, now,
he got the whole case with all the belts.
He thought he was talking about the one he lost.
Nah.
Yeah, I thought it was a slick one, but it
hell no.
Okay. All right, Ugas. Ugas didn't want to take the rematch with Shawn Porter because he said Shawn didn't have a belt. I've seen people saying that Ugas needs to fight Shawn, but he don't want to fight Shawn, and Shawn can possibly take his mandatory spot if they fight again. And Kenny said a couple of months ago that they changed the game plan going into that Ugas fight. You know what I mean? So good interview, and that's all I wanted to say, man. Wasn't too much, man. Great interview, man.
All right, champ. Well, appreciate you, and appreciate you dropping a question there for Ken Porter, taking advantage of your Patreon status and dropping a question on the Ask Ken Porter question. We're going out to Sony, who also asked this question. What's going on, champ?
Hey, what's up, Ness? Can you hear me?
Perfectly. How are you, brother?
I'm good. Hey, yo. Hey, man, that was a fantastic interview, bro. And you know what, Ken Porter? Hey, next time he's on the show, if his son Shawn is Showtime, I'm gonna start acknowledging him as prime time because dude is off the chain, bro. I enjoyed that whole interview, bro. And that line that he said when he was like, "Dude, I'll fight on Border Wars before I go to South." Hey, yo, bro, I was crying. That was loud. Hey, yo, word up, bro. Good show.
Yo, we do need to clip that so it could be part of like our next Border Wars intro or something. That was
sweet.
You know, every time a professional fighter talks about Border Wars, we got to clip it and put it into sort of a montage because eventually it's going to get to that level, man, where it's popular, man. We're going to get the rap battles there. We have released the first rap battle with Mario and Stainless. We're going to cut everyone's. We're going to title everyone's. We're going to put everyone's name and everything in the description. So, yeah, man, if you're part of the Saturday rap battles, because we're going to move it to Saturday, we're going to do its own thing rather than, at the end of a show, we're going to do its own thing. We still might come up with a better name, but so far it's TBV Rap Battles. Let me get to Getty, Harlem. Thanks for asking your question. Ken, what's up?
Nah, no doubt, Ness, man. How y'all living today, man?
Blessed,
Good,
man.
champ.
Blessed, man. As long as we up, we good.
That question, though.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I didn't have too much to ask for Coach, but I just felt like I feel like with Porter, I'm looking for him to fight Spence. Or even at the time, I thought he. I'm just trying to get my thoughts together with Shawn Porter. My fault, man. But I mean, right now I can't think about it. But we're gonna move on to Ugas. Was he in a title eliminator? I mean, excuse me, he was an eliminator that made him a mandatory.
Yeah, with the WBA.
Okay. Well, definitely looking forward for that. Because I was looking on the Boxing Voice rankings. I didn't even know who this Alexander Vesputin dude was.
Vesputin, but he tested positive too. So we gotta see what happened with that. I never followed up because I don't, you gotta make some noise if you want me to follow you. But That is the call, Getty. Let me see. Looks like we got a counter punch. Who's counter punching? Who want to hook off on Doomy with the counter?
Damn.
Let me see.
Combo breaker.
Oh, that's Sony. What up?
Hey, yo, Ness.
Sony, what it do?
Hey, yo. You just said you're going to come up with a new title for the rap battles. You guys don't like the freestyle sparring session? It's boxing related.
I mean, it's got to be put into a vote. We gonna put out a post like we always do, just do things normally. So that everybody can get a vote.
Did y'all take a look at those rankings that I put up? The back channel they gave.
I definitely seen it, but I ain't in agreements with giving no 0-0 guys a title shot. That just ain't how boxing work.
No, Izzy got the title shot.
Nah.
The back channel voted on it.
Yeah, but you also put that the back channel voted the next battle is Mario versus that nobody. I read that.
No, the next no. It says the next battle is Money Bay versus Izzy.
And then you said the mandatory is that dude that nobody knows.
Yeah, in the back channel they disagree with that, so I redid it.
Oh, all right. Well, now you talking about edits. I ain't see the edit. I just seen the original because when you drop it, I'm on it.
All right, I'm gonna repost it for you.
All right, champ.
All right.
So yeah, we got King. I mean, what it do?
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean.
Yo, another amazing show. I was definitely I don't want to toot my own horn, but I love the way he answered my question because I think a lot of people they see the dynamic in boxing between a father and a son, and I don't think they've ever seen it successful. Some of my favorite fighters, some of it, like Chad Dawson, I'm always, tip my hat to him. Some people say that his downfall was never leaving his father and advancing his game. So to see the Porters, compete at such a high level and still operate like that, I just got so much love for that. Because I used to always stay, I'd have been to at least 3 Shawn Porter fights live. And I used to be like, damn, he fight ugly. But over time, I know y'all heard me, I had to respect it. So that's first things first. The other thing is, shout out to DBX from the UK. He's shout out to everybody. And Antonio, those two guys, they worked very hard on that, the whole freestyle joint. And they got me, feeling like I want to jump back in the mix. So I'm starting from the bottom. As far as intrigue goes, and I'm just saying, I don't know. Ness, maybe he's like Loma, right? And y'all heard, I ain't never hear him spit. But suppose he spit that rhyme and it was good enough to say that the guy coming from the amateur ranks, he's turning pro, deserves a shot. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad as a boxing fan you chose to go the Loma route because even Loma had to get one fight to get ranked. Peace. That's what I'm saying. In boxing, you can't do it. Even Loma couldn't get his first fight to be a title shot. It was his second fight. Think about it. But that's what I'm saying. Let him get a fight under his belt. Calling for the king, man. You niggas gonna learn to respect the king, man. We got.
Hell no. He mad because I get the better fights. He mad because they still like me more. He mad because I got better numbers. He mad because he can't beat Keith Thurman. That's why he mad. Hell no.
So once when I get on that stage and I come at you, better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son. I'm telling you.
What's good? What's good?
What's good, champ?
Man, y'all don't got to be scared to say my name, man. Everybody know y'all talking about the champ, the king. But I'm gonna keep this boxing related. I ain't even responding to that Freestyle Friday no more. As obviously y'all ducking. So the Kenny Porter interview, it was dope, man. Dope as usual, man. And like I say, I knew Bob was just blowing smoke. They don't want that fight with Porter, Thurman, none of the PPC cats. So I look forward to probably seeing Bud fighting Brook that'll probably be the fight that's
But
gonna happen.
why you say that? Why you say they don't want that fight? I'm not understanding that.
They don't want it
Why?
because they don't want it.
Okay, but why? Why you say that?
Because Arum said in the interview that it wasn't enough money in the fight.
I mean, he said during these times, though. We explained that. You don't think it's a little difficult to make a big pay-per-view fight during these times? Ain't that the reason that Wilder Fury 3 got pushed back?
Nah, I don't think so. I think for him just to say that straight out without even reaching out and discussing what's the alternatives and what they can do is just like, yeah, we'll make it. I'm interested. He said that on the show, and then now it's like, oh well, even if they want to fight, it's not enough money.
Nah, man. I think you're misinterpreting or taking his words out of context, but I get your reluctancy to believe Bob Arum. I get that. I do. Yo, Bitcoin is like going up, man.
Yo, you keep saying that shit. Yo, you rich now, cuz?
No. Honestly though, like, remember, I had an original payment that they paid me in Bitcoin, so it went down with the COVID, you know, and now it's back to what the original payment was plus.
Don't tell me that.
Plus like $91 on top of my original payment.
All right. Next topic. Next topic. No, I'm just kidding. No, listen, that's good. I'm happy for you. I really am. Obviously I want my friends to do good, but I'm a little upset that I had that opportunity to get in while I saw it down, and scared money don't make money, and there's a reason for that statement.
Bro, it was in the 4,000 points, right? Like, what is it considered? A Bitcoin was worth $4,000 back then because it dropped so much.
It was worth a lot of money at one point. 20.
Today alone, it went up 3.25%. It's insane. I'm like, whoa, all right. I'm just waiting. Because, like, before the COVID happened, I seen my Bitcoin go up to a certain amount, and I never pulled it. So I don't even want to pull till it get back to where, you know what I mean? Because it's like even though that wasn't my money because my original payment was lower, I let it sit and got to that at one point. And if COVID wouldn't have happened, that would have been mine. So, like, I'm holding out.
That money you got it, and if you got it as a payment too, is pretty cool, right? Like usually when
it wasn't my. That's how I look at it. Like, obviously it's my money because I did the work to get paid. But I'm like, I kind of took it in Bitcoin because I was gonna receive more money, and it's just like I never did the Bitcoin. I was late on the wave. Like, I'm super late. Like, people probably laughing at me right now.
It's like you went to go cover a fight at the MGM for let's say like a local place, and they were like, yo, we'll give you $500, or we'll give you like $2,000 in chips to play with. Like,
exactly.
Yo, that's a deal right there.
But they that's
the money that you don't fear losing as much. You know what I mean?
When you throwing money into investments like that, you just gotta pay attention to how steady it is. You gotta get some of these stocks. You'll see them shoot up, shoot down. Real unstable, and you gotta catch the stocks at the right time. I used to mess with the stocks just for fun, like trying to learn and stuff like that. At one point, I remember downstate we had a fantasy a stock thing that they let us be involved in within
Yo, I told y'all, look, when I told y'all the last time, I said, yo, Walmart, everybody's home. It had went up 0.3. Now it's up 1 full percent, 0.12. So it's 1.12% up. I'm telling you, man, right now, food is what you need to invest in. Food.
Yeah, follow the times. Look,
people buying food at an alarming rate. Let me tell you, man, I drove around today because I had to get the fuck out, right? So I went to pick up some food with my girl, and it was crazy. These people think that it's summer because we got a little bit of sun. People didn't have masks on. Some people did. The park was fully open. I didn't understand what was going on. I couldn't wait to come home because they wilding out there. A little bit of sun came out, and people think that COVID is over, and
COVID dead.
it's just spreading more. That's all that's happening. It's crazy.
Yo, that shit scares the shit out of me because the last 3 pandemics or 2 pandemics that we had, they lasted for a while. Last one lasted for 2 years. So we don't know what the hell's going on, man. I hope everybody just doesn't go crazy, starts going back to like 100 right away, man. That shit's gonna be bad.
They on 100, believe me. Let me get to, I believe, Steve in Chicago, because, oh yeah, Mario did answer me. Steve in Chicago, what it do? Thank you for putting your question in Patreon, champ. How are you?
Yeah, hey, what's going on? Hey, man, I just wanted to say, man, shout out to you, man, because you always ask everybody's question, no matter how whack some of those questions were. Because to me, like that Fred stuff, like, I don't know, that was just whack to me. Like, hey, I guess everybody's entitled to their question because they feel like they're paying for it. But yeah, man, shout out to you. But hey, man, just listening to Kenny here, it's gonna be a new world we live in, man. I don't think reality has set into everybody. You hear how he was telling you how he's not going to be going to weigh-ins and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. We don't know what's to come in the future here with this stuff. So, but yeah, man, he gave us great insight. Gave us a lot of views from behind the scenes there. I enjoyed it. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how serious he was though, Steve, right? Because when given the opportunity to take the rest of the year off in my hypothetical question, he said, nah, man, I mean, if people fighting, then we going to be fighting. So, because I wanted to get in his pockets without getting in his pockets and be like, yo, like, y'all got good money. Y'all don't need to fight this year. Like, why risk it?
Yeah, but the one thing he did say, though, going to Steve's point, is like, and I met Ken a couple times, I've interviewed him obviously several times working for TBV, but I met him a couple times like as a fan, and the thing is he's very, very hospitable. You know what I mean? He'll give you pictures, he'll hang out, he'll talk, he'll chop it up with you, like, and he's like, I'm not gonna do that stuff anymore. I can't do that stuff anymore. Like, somebody's asked me to take pictures, like, nah, like, why would you even want a picture with me? I'm not going to take my mask off. Like, I'm not going to remove my mask and so you could take a picture. And it's not to be a hater. It's just because things have changed. So, whether he actually goes to a weigh-in or not, I think the point is it's not going to be the same environment. It's not going to be the same level of camaraderie that we come to expect from weigh-ins and stuff like that. And it's not going to be the same experience. Maybe I already said that, but like my brother, my brother's never done anything for the media. I got him one time in as a webmaster, never again. Not because of anything, just I did it one time for him, and that was it. And but he goes to fights and he loves taking pictures. You look at his Facebook, that's all his pictures are. You know what I mean? He has like 10 pictures of his daughter and like 50 pictures of fighters. And that's like a huge thing for him. You know what I mean? He loves that experience. And for guys to get shut down now and for that not to happen, that's definitely a different world in boxing for sure.
Steve's not too far off either saying that, man. It's like reality pretty much hasn't really hit yet. Like, it's all good though, because I think everybody's staying hopeful, and keep thinking positive is a great thing. I guess I'm the type of guy who believes in that type of energy, but the way this is played out in the past, man, it's just like I don't even know if we're gonna have boxing at the end of the year for an open crowd. I don't think we're gonna see it this year at all. I mean, time flies by quick. We're already in May. June, July. Some people are saying July. Some promotions we hear July. Others, September, November. And then again, nobody really knows. So it's like the only thing I can look to is the past and, how it's happened in the past. Obviously, this pandemic is a little unique, I guess, in its own way. But it's going to take time, man. And the adjustments got to be made now. And I think people got to come to terms. And when I mean people, the promotions, the fighters, everybody involved has to come to terms with what's going on and really, really, really hightail it to make those adjustments as soon as possible.
Bruh, how is Snapchat stock down almost 5%? I thought people was home.
Nah, cause TikTok stock went up, champion. TikTok was the future. Snapchat was doing crazy numbers, but then TikTok was coming along little by little, and boom, it was the next best thing. TikTok. Only reason I don't like TikTok that much is that whole, them sending our information to China servers type shit. But if not, I would have been had a TikTok. Shit's fun.
Yo, I seen Kevin Hart reposted a girl that did a TikTok of his stand up of him on the roller coaster. When I checked it, that shit had like 8.6 million views, kid.
Damn.
That girl is famous now.
TikTok is huge right now, bro.
He posted the whole thing, so at the end it shows her handle. Let me get to Majid in Orlando. What it do? Just listen to Majid going once, twice.
With you.
We going to Stainless.
Red belt, black belt, WO and green. I'm king. Undisputed GOAT, TBE. And you can catch the news first on TBV. Voice of the people now let me speak. Scientists of the sweet, BOXING.
Yo, TBV, what's good?
What up?
What up?
Yo, this entire show, from y'all starting out on YouTube, getting everybody all amped and excited, man, I kept seeing TBV back, the super chats, all that shit, to cutting off on them niggas, coming straight to Patreon where the news is real, doing that whole Kenny Porter interview, man, and then it's on Skype, man, like, you said it, Ness, man. I guarantee you that's gonna be the next thing podcasters do, man. Like it really give you kind of a home feeling too. Like he gave us a tour of his gym and shit, man. That's cool as fuck. Plus, I didn't know he was you know what I'm saying, that he been up to Detroit like that, man. Woodward Ave, that's like the divide line between the east and west side to Detroit. That's very important, man. But man, a lot of news that got broken in that interview, man. Shouts out to y'all, man. Y'all keep doing it. Don't sleep on these cats, y'all will miss out, man. As always say, please make sure you push that thumbs up. Share this in every episode of the Boxing Voice podcast. It's TBV for life. And if you ain't on Patreon, I guess you'll hear this in 7 days because you stupid. Shout out to El Camino. Peace.
All right. Let me see here. We got Stone Bone, Colorado. Thanks for. Oh, you didn't drop a question. I didn't see one for you. What's up?
No, I did not. I was reading through and there was a lot of duplicates. So I was like, well, a lot of people thinking in the same line as me. And only thing that I was gonna ask a question. I was gonna just say, like I'm saying to y'all, like everybody talking about. Even Mario was talking about who's doing who the favor or who's this helping out. Basically, like he was saying, well, Sean got options, but Buzz the champion. So I'm looking at it like, as Ken Porter, as the manager / trainer, at what point, if you want the Bud Crawford fight for your son, do you pick up the phone and make the call? It's like you talking about the champion who's getting paid multiple millions of dollars, who, we might say he don't got people to fight, but Bob Arum them is making plenty phone calls within their camp to the people they know, Kell Brooks and Keith. Like, it's a lot of talk. So at what point do you, as the manager / trainer, tell Shawn Porter, if we want to fight, we can't just sit here and just say, oh, we his only option, so they got to call us. Or he don't got many options, so they got to call us. I always heard a closed mouth don't get fed. And if you sitting there waiting for the former undisputed champion or a guy you don't think got options to call you, like, do you really want to fight? If you really want to fight, pick up the phone and make a call. Don't just think people gonna call you. Bob Arum is 80 years old. They'd rather do a Ugas and pay him $2 million than
I hear you, man, but I mean, I think it's already happened. See, y'all just things went over your head. Y'all don't remember that part where he said Al said, "Let me call Terence."
Yeah.
And then you got to remember Bob came on here all happy. I've never seen Bob talk about Al like that. I was putting it in the chat. So who really knows, man? Did they talk already?
Well, all I know is, real quick, all I know is that they asked him to give the 3 fights that they would want, and he said in no particular order, and not one of them was spent. I mean, I'm sorry, not one of them was Crawford. And not because they're avoiding, not because they're scared, but because the get back for Thurman is more important. The get back for Spence is more important to them. And of course, Pacquiao's the money man.
Bruh, I wish I was in his head because I don't believe so. I mean, yo, if everybody's calling Bud that dude, you knock him off. And honestly speaking, I think Porter is a freaking tough fight.
But that's the marquee name.
That's the biggest, toughest fight for Crawford. Like, people think it's Earl. Earl don't let his hands go as much as Shawn.
It could turn out to be a fight that's close, like Spence and Shawn. That's the type of fight that Bruh, I believe the public's looking forward to seeing.
I think Porter has a lot more success, man. I wish they would do a film study on Khan, man. Yo, and that was legitimately a low blow. That was legitimately No, you laughing. You go rewatch that fight. It was legitimately a low blow. Virgil Hunter just saved Khan because he was getting his ass whooped. So, you know, he, as the trainer, said we stopping the fight, and they labeled it him because of the low blow, he was unable to continue. But it wasn't called a disqualification, you know, for whatever reason, I don't know. Because they gave him the 5 minutes. You know what I mean? You can't disqualify a guy because you never took a point and all that stuff. But yeah, the TKO comes from Virgil. You can hear it clear as day. I happen to be, you know, I think it's when I scheduled the Ken show this morning. I watched that fight. It came up top rank. Shit only had less than 500,000 views, which I thought was crazy. But, you know, I also thought very nice of Top Rank A, right? Either Top Rank negotiated a deal so fucking exclusive with ESPN that they can literally show Crawford's fight on ESPN, then take it off of the platform and put it for free on YouTube, where ESPN is now a direct competitor. They're charging $4.99, $5.99 for that fight on ESPN's app, right? So fucking Top Rank, they're killing it with their deal, right? Like, they got the content distribution deal, but they got the rights. There's no royalties there, Papa. We playing and airing whatever we want when we want. And that was pretty cool. But that fight showed me that, bro, Crawford, first of all, he backs out like this. You know what I'm saying? And every time he backed out like that, Khan hit him with a fucking hook. You know what I mean? But it was a whack hook. It's like he don't got no power. Khan was super scared. Bro, I don't know if I never watched that fight or obviously I watched it. I'm sure we did a live fight chat. But, bro, that's why it's good to go back. Not too soon. Too soon is always bad. I don't know how long it's been. But, bro, Khan was super scared. And Crawford does have power. All right? He hit Khan with a right hand that put him off balance, then he dropped him with the left hook in the first round. He was done after that. Like, after that, Crawford was feeling himself, and he could just counter right over the Khan jab so easily that Khan got hip to it, wouldn't really jab anymore, so he had to switch to southpaw, and then he started hooking. Started hooking Khan.
Shawn in the Crawford fight. I mean, in a perfect world, or not in a perfect world, but in a world where you see the boxer, you know, winning against a Ford-style fighter, a guy like Shawn Porter, I mean, he just never lets you settle in.
Never.
He just never lets you settle in, man. And it's like, Either we're gonna see the most ugliest fight that Terence has been in, the most rugged fight we've ever seen him in, or we're gonna see his best boxer performance.
It's gonna be a bit of both, in my opinion, because I think Crawford takes chances and he likes the uppercut, and Shawn is on that Joe Frazier tip. He stays low. You know what I mean? I think Crawford can hit him with the uppercut, bro. He hit Khan with the uppercut. I mean, it goes low too, but you got to remember, Porter bends way more at the waist than Khan. So those low blows for Khan are gonna land on the chest and face area of Porter.
I mean, when Shawn got cut with that hook from Arrow, it was a
hook.
Yeah, it was a hook, and I think that's one thing that Porter, is always susceptible of, because he's such a high-paced, in-your-face, throwing punches.
He got hooked by Broner too, but it was with a left hook and he got dropped.
So you got to be careful, because a guy like Crawford is, pretty good at timing you and switching. He can really hurt you. I mean, that's gonna be it pretty much if Terence hits Porter enough times to make him respect. Yeah,
he puts a lot of mustard, bro. I seen him miss a right hook, I think, or what?
And almost fall.
No, a left hook, because he was still in the orthodox position in the first round, bro. He tried to clip Khan, and he put so much. Then if you go to the end of the first round, or it might have not been the first round, but one of the ends of the rounds, he tries to cap Khan with a right hook, and he falls. His glove hits the floor and everything.
Yeah, he puts a lot of mustard into it. And, when you're not, I mean, he switches, but when you're not, I'm pretty sure he's fought a lot more fights and a lot longer in an orthodox style. So sometimes what happens is because I'm a switcher, I like to switch. I'm a big person in coaching people to switch. But when you switch over to if you're an orthodox and you switch over quickly to your southpaw, you don't have as much stability as you would when you're always fighting on your orthodox side or any dominant side that you box in. So sometimes when you throw shots from your not common stance, I guess you could say, sometimes you put so much mustard into these shots, bro. You spin.
Honestly, Khan's a bum.
Man, Mario, how you feel about
that? I question Top Rank, bro. Honestly,
you're a bum.
I hope Bud fans understand that the level of opponents that they choosing for him is what's giving him that stigma. Like, it's his own company, because, think about it. We the ones out here actively talking about Keith and Jermell and Shawn. They talking about Brook. They was talking about Khan, Benavidez. Bruh, they not risking a fight with Shawn Porter or Jamel Charlo because it ruins the Earl Spence fight. And both sides already seen that they could have lost that fight. Earl jeopardized that fight. I don't think they do that again. Honestly, I don't think they do that again. Just based off the level of opposition, I mean, dog, he's never been in there with a Shawn Porter in any division. There's no equivalent of a Shawn Porter on his resume in any division. And watching that version of Khan, bro, Khan's footwork was horrible. 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 First of all, when you fight a southpaw, you got to keep your foot outside. He wasn't worried about that. Bro.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I was upset. Oh, man, don't even bring that up.
That left hook he was throwing, it was crazy. It was like a chopping left hook because he was so nervous in there. Crawford must hit hard. He was stupid nervous. It's crazy. I don't know. It's fresh in my mind because I watched it this morning, that's all. And it's just like, wow. I'm just seeing that, bro, after the first round, he didn't even fear Khan, bro. Hands down from the orthodox position, hands down, just trying to bait Khan in so he could counter right over that jab.
And that's exactly what he was doing. He was trying to bait him, and he was getting crossfoot. He wasn't measuring distance very well. Not only that, he wasn't getting out of certain situations and putting himself to reset. It was like he would avoid a shot, or he would step back, and then he would just, he wouldn't pivot, he wouldn't sidestep, he wouldn't do
He
anything. He
never
just stayed
recovered
there
either, to
and
be
got
honest
hit.
with you. You heard me? I don't know. I'm sorry. I cut you off, so you probably
No,
didn't
go
hear me.
ahead. What'd you say?
I don't think he ever recovered either.
No, he definitely didn't.
Like never fully, you know what I mean? And then Crawford was just wailing on him anyway whenever he got the chance. We got Boomerang, Trey in the Bay. You available? Going once. Trey in the Bay, Trey in the Bay, Trey in the Bay. Going, yep, there she goes. What up?
What's going on? What's going on? Good interview, man. I missed most of the show, so go ahead and get my boomerang to Stonebone. Thank you.
All right. Stonebone, what up? End this, wrap it up.
Let me turn.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, turn my Bluetooth off. Yeah, it's to me. It's not. I'm not saying that. I don't think that them calls are happening and stuff like that. But it's just. I guess I'm a go getter. I'm a guy that I pursue things that I want. You know what I mean? Like the woman I got now, I pursued that. You know what I mean? The women, I learned Spanish to speak to women. Like I done went to the depths to get what I want. So it's like, if you want that fight, man, pick up the phone. It's like, it's not like Shawn Porter is the type of fighter that has a big name and a big cachet that people are like, oh yeah, let me fight him because that's a big bag. No, people gonna be like, man, I ain't trying to fight him because that's a big fight. You know what I mean? Not a big money fight, a big, like, you gonna go home hurting. You know what I mean? You're gonna get headbutted, you're gonna get elbowed, and all of that. And hey, the last thing I want to say about this restructuring contracts and people acting like PBC guys don't got contracts. Kenny Porter just told you that a PBC guy got a contract and he had a deal. The difference is a lot of guys didn't have guaranteed money that's owed to them. A lot of money is in bonuses and different things like that. That's the benefit of having certain type of contracts. You can still get the benefits without even having a fight. That's why certain guys are saying, "No, you got to pay me more," and other guys saying, "Nah, I'll take a pay cut," because they need to take the fight. Other guys who getting this big money, they like, "Nah, if you ain't paying me more to be in an empty stadium where I'm gonna sell the pay-per-views." Disney just reported that Disney Plus has had back-to-back ridiculous. Just imagine all of the parents who don't subscribe to the Disney Plus package. They're in the room watching Hulu, the kids in the front watching Disney Plus, and then the teenagers on ESPN app Plus. So it's a lot going on, and it's a lot of money that's going.
It's funny that he brought up Disney, man. I was just looking at that stock. That stock went down, man, by almost 2.5%. So
There's gonna be a time where you're gonna want to invest in it really pretty soon,
bro. And let me tell you, man, I'm on here just checking shit, and everything is down. Like banks are down, airlines down.
billions of dollars lost by the airline.
Banks are down because of the stimulus package because the government backed all of those small business loans and stuff. So, like a lot of people, they're cutting a lot of checks right now. So they're gonna be down, but they'll go back up.
Bro,
you know what I'm gonna get in? You know what I'm gonna get in? I'm gonna get in airlines. I'm gonna get in airlines because they're getting so low. I might wait a little bit longer, see if things can get a little lower. But man, I'm gonna get in airlines. That stuff is going way lower than I thought it would go.
They're down $11 to $14, bro. That's fucking insane.
It's crazy.
Insane.
That's why I'm like, bro, I got to get on that right there.
I can't believe Amazon is dropping.
It's gonna have a slight drop. Not too much.
7.9%. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. Especially when things like Apple's only dropping 1.6. How the hell is Amazon almost 8 points down?
They had a lot of fallouts in their warehouses too.
Yo, what the hell is Liberty Global?
Liberty Global.
Isn't it that one that Liberty?
No, they're the
Liberty.
largest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Liberty. Liberty.
No, they're the largest cable network operator in Europe with operations
never mind.
in the United Kingdom and Switzerland. They're up like 17 points. I don't know what the hell that is.
Phone company?
17 points.
17, bro.
That's
communications.
And they got them down as the best.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
They got them down as the best daily movers too. But look at that. Spirit Airlines down almost 13%, bro.
Yo, Continental is probably like, oh,
Crazy. They must be stressing. But yeah, man, we got Stainless on the Boomerang.
Yeah, again, man, right back on topic, man. I think it's still gonna work out. Maybe I'm just optimistic. I get that a lot, but things pass, and I kind of feel like this is gonna pass too. Yeah, there's gonna be new regulations and evolve and involved, and it's gonna evolve into something different as far as socializing at in social events, such as boxing and entertainment. But I mean, even through the most recent pandemics, like we still eventually made it back to normal. So I think it's going to just like with the stock market, it's going to take its hit, but it's going to bounce back. And I think it's going to bounce back and keep with the rise that it's been doing boxing, because it's already got so much light on it and it's becoming popularized again. So, I definitely think boxing got some good and some fortunate coming in this near future. So I'm going to be watching with eager eyes. Peace.
All right. Yeah, man, that's GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Actually, we got Getty on the counterpunch. Sorry, Getty.
Nah, it's no worries, man. It's no worries. It's always good to build that good rapport over there. This is Greatness Promotions. We just want to give a huge shout outs to TBV and everybody that's pulling up on Freestyle Friday, man. Tune in for those punchlines, and that's my word. We currently ranked number 7, and we soon to be number 1.
Okay, I hear you.
Damn.
Yeah,
stated the claim.
Yo, them rankings are fire.
That must be Doomy. Doomy got Tiger over there, don't you?
Yo, Tigey's right in my face, man. I'm sorry,
I
guys.
hear the nails. I'm like, wait, who's got the fucking background?
Tap dancing on this floor.
And it's the little nails. Yo, Nets GTO, Instagram and Twitter. Catch us on the next one. Peace.
Catch me on